Hey guys, Sean Evans here at Lift Tills and Thrills. I've literally just woken up, put a cap on, still got my Port Vale hoodie on, keeping warm as the weather's starting to take a turn for the colder. And I thought I'd bring you this little review of Daz Games Panic. Daz Games Panic is a brand new Scarefest edition for 2023, and I thought that it deserved its own video. Clearly I've gone through a lot of effort to bring this video to fruition, considering I've been awake for 5 minutes and I can only just about speak English. Anyways, Daz Games Panic is a new Scarefest edition that allows guests to pop on a wristband and travel through an interactive scare maze experience. You get your wristband on, you scan your wristband to activate it, you are then presented with 2 symbols. These are 2 symbols that are completely randomized and completely different from everybody else who's taking part in the experience. Someone else may have the same symbol as you, but the 2 together will be 2 completely different symbols. It's your mission, should you choose to accept it, to step forward through the curtains into a live action scare experience whilst trying to find your symbols. Once you scan your symbols, it is registered, and once you scan both of your symbols, you can scan again to exit the attraction. This will then be registered on a leaderboard, and the person who escapes the quickest is the winner. You do not get any prizes, you do not get any recognition, you just get your name on a leaderboard that says number 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever the number may be. That is restarted the second another group passes through the scare experience. Now, for me, this was a very hit and miss attraction, to put it simply. A lot of people who went on opening weekend have all said the same thing, and I'm of the same mindset as well. So we've got very similar thoughts and opinions on this. So let's start with the positives. The technology is incredible. Now, for me, I don't know the process behind that programming of the bands. I think it's genius, the fact that you can scan to get into the maze, you get given 2 symbols, you hunt them down, you're scanning the experience, it registers it, and then it registers it again to say that you've got those 2 symbols to let you out of the attraction. I think that's really clever. I think the use of the technology is really, really clever, and I love the idea that it's gone from a scare maze to almost like a game. It's fun. It doesn't make you panic though. The only way it would make you panic is that you have 7 minutes to escape the experience, and if you've got 10 seconds left, then you're panicking trying to find the symbol. As far as the actors within the scare maze goes, there is no panic induced at all, because you're so focused on getting your symbols that the actors are irrelevant. The only thing that's getting people in that maze is if they go the wrong way, or as if they're cornered by an actor, which is very rare, because inside the building in Daz Games Panic is open space. Now imagine a car park that's having a little bit of construction work, or imagine a road that's having some work done to it where they're digging for pipes or something, and you have the metal guardrail around it. That's what the inside of Daz Games Panic looks like. It is metal guardrail with a few smoke machines and a few actors. In terms of theming, it is non-existent. The theming is probably the worst that I've ever seen at Alton Towers, and it's lazy and it's just cheap. It's as simple as that. It's lazy and it's cheap. How it looks is it's lazy and it's cheap. But the technology is immersive, the technology is fun, and actually going on this fact-finding mission to find your symbols actually makes it fun and unique of an experience. It's just that interior, the inside, ruins it. So you go in, you've got a mission to do, and whilst you're not exactly paying too much attention to your surroundings, it would have been nice to have better theming within that space, just to kind of immerse you a little bit more. Take that technology with a bigger budget for theming, and you could put it inside a Squid Game type experience. You could put it inside some sort of haunted manor where you have to scan your symbols and escape the manor. There's a lot of different utilizations for that technology in a better space. So in terms of the technology, I think Daz Games Panic is a hell of a lot of fun. The only downside to this entire experience, theming aside of course, is the fact that if you're doing it really quick, and you find your symbols that are close to the door, for example. So obviously some people are going to have symbols that are at the far end of the building. Some people are going to have ones that are quite close to them. Hence all the scores are a little bit unfair or weighted to certain players depending on where those symbols are. So obviously some people are going to have better chances than others. you could scan it through and be done. And some people actually were out within a minute. And you paid £10 for the pleasure. £10 and you're in that scare experience for a minute. I think the price point is an absolute rip-off. If it was £5, you'd feel a little bit better, but £10 is extortionate considering you're just running around guardrails with a little bit of smoke. I think that all the money went on the technology to execute this particular experience, and not enough went on making that experience more immersive in terms of how it looks. Some things inside, you have to complete tasks to scan your band. So for example, when I went over to one of my symbols, so I had headphones in a square, when I went over to square, right next to the bit that allows you to scan your band, it was blank. It lights up a certain color when you're allowed to scan it. There was, I think there was 9 buttons, not 6 buttons in front of me, and I had to press the right one that would turn the color of that symbol to one where I could scan it. So I'm there doing this, like smashing every button. As soon as I hit the right button, it turned on the scanner, I scanned my band, and away I go. There was other things that you had to complete, little tasks, nothing too complicated. And apparently there's a Smiler logo in there where you had to crawl through a tunnel to scan the band whilst you're in the tunnel. So that's more of a physical challenge that you had to do to get that. But if you had the Smiler logo and you had to crawl through a tunnel, already you're spending more time than what I had to do, for example, with my headphones one, which was simply go up to it, find the headphones one, scan, done, you're gone. Whereas someone who had the Smiler symbol would obviously take a much longer time because you've got to navigate through the tunnel. So it's definitely not a fair game for everybody. Not everybody's on the same level playing field. Everyone within that group that you're in, some have got more advantages than others. So I feel as though it needs to be spread out a little bit to make it a little bit more fair in terms of a game. But it wasn't terrible. It's something new. It's something improved. It's something that I've managed to talk for nearly 7 minutes about, straight back to back. So clearly it's not as bad as some people have said in their particular videos. But it's not great either. I think the price point is against it. I think the theming is against it. I think the pre-show went on way too long, but the pre-show, if that was tightened up a little bit, would be quite terrifying. It was like, it started out as more of like a family-friendly YouTuber just introducing his own scare attraction, but this AI kind of takes control of his particular experience and starts to make it more terrifying in terms of a scare maze. It starts ramping it up. It's out of control. Daz can't control it, and it goes a little bit crazy, and to the point where even Daz is urging people to escape as quickly as possible before this AI kind of tailors this intense scare experience. Was it intense? Absolutely not. I encountered 2 actors throughout my entire experience, and it was funnier just watching other people's reactions, screaming and running away. I think it's fun. I think it's unique. I think it's something different. I'll be surprised if it comes back in that form, but I'd love that technology to be implemented somewhere else. It feels like a scare attraction that should belong at Thought Park, well, Thought Park of old, should I say, because they're really maturing in terms of their scare attraction offering. But it feels a bit out of place at Alton Towers. Alton Towers got that regal quality. You've got the towers. It's just how that maze looked, and having it linked to a YouTuber, I just don't think that that's the way that I would go if I was Alton Towers. It felt very Thought Park of old, more teenage targeted, a little bit chavvy in terms of its aesthetic, maybe. But yeah, it definitely feels like Thought Park of old. But it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. That tech and something else with a bit more effort and a bit more budget, and I think that would be superb. It's unique. If that idea of the technology was Daz's, then fair play. Getting a collaboration with a YouTuber, fair play. Well done to Daz for getting that collaboration. It's just that it's a shame that it landed at Alton Towers Creative to develop that experience. And as this year's Scarefest has found out, there's very much lacking in the creativity department at Alton Towers. It feels like there's too many cooks in the kitchen, too many ideas bobbling around, and then they're just like, forget it, we'll just go with the same as last year with a few extras. I'm so glad Scare Zones are back. That's incredible. Daz Games back. Next year, I don't know, but it's something different. I just think the price point was ridiculous. There's changes to be made, but there has been improvements in this year's event. We have to take all of those positives when we can. I've been Sean Evans. You've been watching Lift Deals and Thrills. What did you think of Daz Games Panic? Comment in the comments box below. I've been away like 20, 15 minutes, I don't know. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.